Good. Let's see. All right. Does anyone want to kick us off with a couple questions?
Ladies first.
You can go ahead, Alex.
No, ladies first. Come on.
Well, that's what she was saying.
No. Oh, nice. You're good.
Sorry, it's Friday.
You're good. No, that's
Friday,
okay.
and I'm quick. I had a couple cups of coffee.
That was quick. All right, yeah, go ahead. I got some basic ones. Or if you're ready, Shayla, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Sarah. This is a real basic one, just to double check. How do you delete an invoice?
I'm sorry. What was that, Alex?
How do you delete an invoice?
Deleting an invoice in RouteStar.
Yeah.
If we go to Invoicing, View Pending Invoices, we right-click. Or sorry, we have to open the invoice first, and you could right-click anywhere in the header and hit Delete Record. That's one way to do it.
Okay.
The other
way from the
is
list
if
itself?
Yeah, there's a delete button
okay.
on the far right-hand side of the page.
Okay.
And it'll prompt you. Any delete button you hit will bring up one menu where you can, if you just leave this date and hit delete, it's going to delete all invoices for this date. If you just want to delete one invoice, you have to pick that one invoice number.
Okay. And that window will always come up, right? Delete invoice selections before it.
Yeah, even if you hit it will never delete just that one invoice. Any delete button you hit, it's always going to bring up that pop-up, and then you have to pick which invoice number to delete.
Okay, that's cool. So pop-up window. Okay. Is there another way? Like if you went to, let's see, if you went to invoice list, well, it doesn't matter. If you go to invoice list and there's 10 invoices, you go all the way to the far right and you just start hitting all the delete buttons. It's still going to ask you. It's still going to have a pop-up window and all that good stuff. So okay.
Yep. Now with that pop-up window, you could pick a date and a driver, and it would delete all invoices for that driver for that date, which is nice. Or if you pick an invoice number, it just deletes that one invoice number.
Specific. All right, very cool. Can you go over to Open Invoice Reports and just pick a date range and a route person, just to maybe have a couple.
I got no open invoices in this system. Let me generate some here real quick. 7-1. Okay, I got a bunch of stuff.
Oh, you got an error.
Yeah, this isn't my database.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got some pending invoices. So let me do a date and a route. So let's do, what do we got, TM6. Okay, so I've got my open invoice report.
Yep. Did you have any dollar amount on there? Because it's not showing. You don't have a total there. There's some. Sorry. Next. Yeah, that's good. Okay. That's. Thank you very much. That before you hit that print preview, you had a subtotal and a total. Yeah, X out of there and just go to, all right, so subtotal and total. They're the same. Sometimes they're not. Is that wrong?
No, 9 times out of 10, they probably are different. Subtotal is pre-tax, total includes tax.
That's what I thought. So obviously from there, the total that's going to be posted will be the total, not the subtotal, correct?
Yeah, when actually the total never goes to QuickBooks. We send the subtotal and the line items and the customer information to QuickBooks, and when QuickBooks then creates the invoice, it applies the tax settings and recalculates the total of the invoice in QuickBooks.
Okay,
So it's always right. It'll always be correct in QuickBooks. Now, on your closed invoice list, you will see a RouteStar subtotal and the QuickBooks posted total. These should always match.
Oh, okay. So subtotal, RouteStar will always send the subtotal to QuickBooks. Then QuickBooks will do its tax tallying, and then under a closed invoice list, we want to take a look at subtotal and QuickBooks posted total and make sure we're good to go. Okay, that makes sense.
These should always match. If there's any discrepancy between these two, again, 9 times out of 10, it's something with the tax rate. It's maybe the tax isn't holding in RouteStar, but yet it's being applied correctly in QuickBooks, or vice versa. One of the programs is not calculating the tax right. That's usually where the difference lies.
Okay. So then when we go to, Michael, if you want to do then an open invoice report, then that total right there is $3,128 is.
That should be a tax included total, not a subtotal.
Tax included total.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's already done it. Oh, let's see, that's, yeah, open invoice report. So even though this is an open invoice report, it still tallies the total up as a tax total.
Yeah, RouteStar still calculates sales tax on every invoice. That's how we get a total at the bottom. But that total, usually the way QuickBooks works, if you maybe change a tax setting for a customer in QuickBooks and you forget to sync, that's the time when RouteStar then would tax the invoice at a different amount than what QuickBooks would tax. Regardless, usually QuickBooks is always right because that's where you make the changes to taxes. So when that invoice goes in, it's always correct in QuickBooks. It's just maybe sometimes you have to then sync with QuickBooks to update the customer information, so now that RouteStar will tax that customer correctly.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right, sounds good. I have one last question. Today I opened up a new customer. I'm actually starting from the leads list, even though I didn't start this way. I actually went in and created the lead, which I knew I already opened up. I inputted all the information I knew how to do. I viewed a quote, all that good stuff. I did notice when I got into, like say when I clicked on the lead, there's some empty fields in there, and they didn't have, it seems like with RouteStar, when you click on a field that has preloaded information, it gives you some things to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way, do you have any leads in there that you can click on?
I can enter one real quick.
All right. And then, Mike, if you want, close out of there and go right to your lead list, and then find that lead. And
Dominic Senior.
Yeah, go ahead and grab that test. And then, to go to the right hand of the screen, we got, so obviously things went in there. Interest assigned to. Assigned to should be a drop-down for, like
users.
Preloaded. Yeah, users, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see, streets, fine, miscellaneous item. Is that more items, or that comes from the main screen that you...
Yeah, when you double-click in here, you have miscellaneous item 1, 2, 3. These are just miscellaneous fields.
What would you use that
for? You
for?
can use for anything. Anything you wanted to see on the leads list without having to drill in to see it in the detail.
Gotcha, okay. some other random.
So maybe you
information.
put the mobile phone number in miscellaneous 1. That way you would tell everyone in the office that miscellaneous 1 has the cell phone number.
Okay. All right. Cool. And then fax, and then that's the end of the line, right? Fax interest. Okay. All right. Cool. And then from there, I actually printed a quote just to see what it looked like, and it's nice. I like it.
Good.
What else? And then from there, I got all my information in there, and we go to step. What do you got there? Oh, okay, information. Cool. Okay, that's got it. Yeah, I did all that. Good to go. And then, so steps after winning. I know you and I talked about this real quick, but obviously you're going to add the customer to QuickBooks. You can click that, and then hit complete, and that will go to QuickBooks. And then on down the line, it's now customer. Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. Well, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Have a great weekend.
Right. You too, man.
Thanks.
Hey, Michael.
All right, what do you got for me today? Let me close this other program here. We don't need routes anymore.
One thing the employee locator, I was trying to kind of mess around with that today, is that do I need to change some settings so that I can see that? I have like a list of the employees and date range, but the map isn't pulling up.
Yep. You want to make sure that you do it in, what is it? I believe it's Google Chrome.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, I have Google Chrome. And yeah, it might just be something, because I can see at the bottom it has the information. It's just not showing me a map for some reason. That has all of that location report down there.
Now, if you pick a employee and a date, it should obviously pull it up. Let's see if we do. Yep. If you ever pick an employee and a date and hit update and it shows no map, or it's a map in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that is basically saying there was no locations, or it couldn't find a location for any of the drivers that day.
Okay.
But I may have to look at your system to see why the map's not pulling up, and I can maybe submit something to tech support to take a look at that for you.
Okay, that might just be something that needs to be adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And then I'm also noticing when I do a sub-assigned, I am not able to see it on mobile device. If there's 2 people assigned to it.
Well, no, we've talked about this briefly before, and the way our software works, a task is only ever assigned to one person. Now, we have an assigned to and a sub-assigned to, but that does not mean the task is now assigned to 2 people. It means it's only assigned to one person, the sub-assigned to. And it works kind of like you're passing it off. If I assign a task to you and you log in on your mobile device, you would see it. If I then sub-assign it to John Doe, only John Doe sees it on his mobile device. You wouldn't see it anymore because you've passed it off to John.
Okay, so if we use the sub-assign, only the sub-assign person will see it, basically.
Yeah, it's whichever's filled in. If you have both the assigned to and the sub-assigned to filled in, only the assigned to, that's where the responsibility lies of that task. If you fill in the assigned to, that's then who the task is assigned to, and that's who is responsible for the task. But as soon as you fill in a sub-assigned to it, you've now moved the responsibility of that task to that new person, whoever's in the sub-assigned to.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And then can you go over, I've tried to, from a task, click on the put on route schedule, but then I'm not seeing it on the route schedule. How does that work when you choose to do that?
If you have a task, let's see here. You actually have to, it's meant for the rental side of the software, but you have to go into info and you have to pull up the route schedule with rental quantity, and you get a field that has task number. You would have to type in the task number of the associated stop, and it would then include the summary of the task on the hard copy route schedule.
Okay. But that would be assigned to a route that's already created. Like it wouldn't create a new task.
Yeah, and the feature, what you just mentioned is ancient, and I mean that was in the software 8, 9 years ago that people used before we had mobiles and all this. And the feature you want to turn on is in the control table under tasks. You want to have be prompted. Let's see, prompt to add task to route schedule. Turn that to yes.
Okay.
So now if I hit if we look at my task list, I've got 3 tasks on my task list for today. If I now press my route schedule button, I get a pop-up. Would you like to put open tasks into the route schedule? When I hit yes, it now has added my tasks.
Okay, under frequency task.
It creates a frequency automatically if you don't already have it as a non-reoccurring one-time type service.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question on whether I should use the one-time or the suspended. Because basically what I'm going to try to do is put all of our jobs on route so that we can use the clock in and clock out. And it'll just be the one-time job for that.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. I've been busy. I've been very, very busy. And let me show you. All right, so let's go to So I'm going to log in just as an admin real quick, and I will have to update your web app, which I can do this weekend. Under the settings, we've put in an option to use simple task time.
Okay.
When that's when that's turned on to yes, it turns off the current time tracking on tasks and adds a simplified version. So now if I go into a task, I would have one little thing called billable time, where I would have a start time, an end time, a time on site in hours, and I would have an option if I wanted to post it to the timekeeping or not.
Okay.
Now, this even does it a little bit, kind of goes beyond just timekeeping. It's also designed to automate billing the customer now for this labor. So let me just create a new task. Pick a customer. I want you to see this in real time. This is not set up. I had no idea you would be in here today, and no idea I would show this today. Who do I got? Balak. So I want you to see there's no line items on this task. Nothing we're charging the customer yet, and there is no billable time. It says it in red.
Okay.
So in my task details here, I'm going to assign it to myself. I'm going to pick my task type. Just like you would when you're filling out a job. Now again, you could do this on the desktop. I'm going to go in and record time. So let's say we're there from 11 to 11:45. So it's 0.75 hours. So I want to post it to timekeeping, yes, and I hit add.
Awesome.
Now, it's a nice little entry under here, so if you had multiple people checking out the little rows of everyone's time on this task, But we added in the desktop offer now, when you look at task type, we have a default billable labor item for each type of task. So if you have a maintenance job, you could have a maintenance item. If you have a landscape type job, you could have the landscape labor item.
Okay.
Now, what it did, add line item automatically based on the task type. So I said all service calls use the installation labor item. So it took my points in 5 hours, automatically put that as the quantity to bill out a labor. So it would show up on the invoice to the customer that we're billing out 0.75 hours, the total of the time for the task.
Okay.
And it puts in the notes that employee start 11. Now let me show you the desktop side. Go ahead and just sync tax. So we don't have any of that where they have to select the employee, select payroll items, select if billable or not, put in a duration in minutes. You still have that. If you turn off simple time tracking, you get the old way.
Okay. That's awesome.
And now if we go, we should see that extra task here, last one. When I open it up, it, of course, pulled out line item, but we would build a complete bill, start 8:05, and so that's my point. Oh, that's the one. Where's that? Here.
Okay, and then we can.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can still post that time tracking.
Yep. What it did behind the scenes as well is that I turned on the option to post to time tracking. The time tracking stuff's here already filled out.
Okay.
Payroll item, the class, the service item, the customer, it's billable. 45 minutes, it's ready to post to QuickBooks.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I think that would be great to use for our jobs, anything that is billable. Yeah, that would be great, and I think that's a much easier. Now, when they are putting in their hours, their start and stop time, is that at all doing any kind of tracking behind the scenes of their location?
Yeah, where they just when they do on the route ticket, whenever clock in, clock out on a route ticket, it gets their time. Same thing with whenever they go and add, when they hit that blue button on the mobile to add time for the task, now that gets their location.
Okay. And so that is something we can see just on the employee locator, like in real time, or at the end of the day. Is there any way to see that they?
No, as soon as he, you know, hits add time, or as soon as he opens a task, it gets his location. You can instantly view it without syncing or doing anything.
Okay.
Now it doesn't, track him live, but based on last check-in or clock-in or the last task he completed, would show you a location of where that tech is.
Okay. Okay.
We went out and got like a 40-inch TV, hooked it up to a computer, mounted it on the wall, and they had their IT guy. Little thing you can do that refreshes the web page every 90 seconds, so that they have their big employee locator up on the wall at all times that automatically refreshes the page so that you can see the latest checks and stuff where the guys are.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. But then that also just works on a desktop. You can't see the locator on your phone, or can you?
Yeah, you should. I mean, if you hit the employee locator, it just pulls up a website, so you would have to copy and paste, and it'd be like texted to your type in a bar, and then you could pull it up in the field.
Okay. So I just text the web page, and then he should be able to pull it up and see where everyone is. Okay. Okay, perfect. That would work. Okay, so basically we should keep our billable jobs as tasks. The guys just have to enter their time. They can't clock in yet, but they can just enter their start and stop time. And then we can track their hours to QuickBooks, their any bills that they have associated with that job. And okay. And then I guess the only other thing would be there's not a way through tasks yet to see a budget time for that job.
Not currently, no. But we do have, there's on the additional info tab of the task, there's, I think, 30 customizable fields that you can define. So you maybe could use one of those as a budgeted time. We would have to then put something in place to pull that and do some calculation like we did in the route tickets, but it's something we can maybe look at here in a week or two.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I guess that's one of the missing links I have because all of our jobs we've already bid them and we have a budget and we want the guys to know whether they're, first of all, what the budget is and then whether they're over or under. Yeah, because all of our bids start out as the estimates, and I've been playing around with that to where I award the estimate. I send it to Jessica. She creates the job in QuickBooks, and then I'm able to assign. Hi, Alex.
Hi, I'm back.
Okay, so she's able to assign it, and I assign it to the crew. So they shouldn't be adding any additional items or time. They just need to make sure that their total time is under the budget for what's already been approved.
Yep.
So, okay, so you're saying you recommend me just like putting it in an extra note section so they can see what the total.
Yeah, I mean for right now, maybe put it in task-specific notes. That's right in front of them when they open up that task, and they can just see their budgeted time for the job. And then, eventually we'll work with you guys on getting that as a field that's part of the task that kind of works like the route, where we have a budgeted time and we can compare time on site to the budget and give you an over/under.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that would be perfect. And then again, say the tech is in the field and he has 2 hours to complete the job. He types in his start time, but it is like 30 minutes or an hour off of when he's actually at the site starting. So again, where would I see that? And would I see that at the end of the day, that the start time doesn't match up with the location?
That you would probably have to see on the employee locator. You would see a timestamp of when that task was opened versus when his times show up on the desktop at the end of the day. When you look at his timekeeping of when he actually said he was there.
Okay.
We don't have a direct comparison on one screen of that information, but you can access it.
Okay. But it'll show, it'll show basically the difference so we can just look at it daily. Okay, perfect. And then real quick, do you need to do any additional updates so that we can see the changes with the time, the hours, and the minutes?
Yep, we have to give you a new desktop software and a new mobile update.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is go ahead and submit a ticket to tech support. Or did you last time? Did you do that check for up? Well, it's not published yet. Yeah, I'm going to have to submit a ticket to tech support and have them reach out to you so they can give you the latest version that has these changes for the tasks in it. Once that's done, they'll let me know, and I'll update your mobile app. This weekend we have slated, we're putting out the documentation for this new update. putting that all together and put it on the website, so we could email that out to you beginning of next week, and then maybe you and I can get together on Tuesday or something like that and just go through it if you have any other questions.
Okay, and without that update, is that maybe a reason why I'm creating crews and it's not pulling in the crew members for them?
Possibly. Possibly.
Okay.
This new update, we made some corrections in the syncing of the crew stuff from the last update, and then we've added all this task stuff in for the new way for the tasks.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if we could set up a time for that, since let's see, the end of the month is when we're getting rid of all of our paper in our office and just going straight to mobile. And a lot of the crew members are not showing up, or I can't get it to sync.
Yeah, I'll create a support ticket. I don't know the current queue, like how many tickets are in there right now, but the guys will get you before the end of the day to get the desktop updated.
Okay.
And then for Tuesday, why don't we, since I got you right now, what works for you for Tuesday to get together?
Tuesday, I'd say anytime. Fine.
How about I could do 11 a.m. my time, or I could do 1 p.m.
Let's do 11.
Okay, perfect. All right, I've got you on the schedule, and Alex, did you think of another question or two?
Yes, I have one, actually two small ones for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, under special instructions for the specific customer, I'm sorry, on an invoice, where am I putting those so they show up on a printed invoice?
If I'm not mistaken, you have to have them, I think it's this task-specific notes field at the bottom of the invoice.
Oh, tab specific, okay.
I believe if we put something in there and hit print.
Is that real work? Oh.
No, those don't show up.
Okay.
I don't know if they pull from there, if they pull from the route schedule. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
I may be completely wrong altogether. That may just be a box for the driver to write in any special instructions back to the office. It may not pull from anything specific here. I'd have to get one of the developers to look to see what that field is, if there is one.
Okay. Is there a way to say you wanted to do a one-time note or something? Is there maybe, can you type it in maybe under a couple lines down description or something? Or
you can't have anything with the blank item name, but you could have, what you could do is go into QuickBooks and create a service item called notes. And then you could add notes onto the invoice as an item, and then you would have a blank description. You could type whatever you wanted to in there.
Okay, so that'll show up on their invoice then?
Yep, it would show up on their invoice like a line item. You know, it would just say notes with a description of whatever note you wanted, and it would say quantity 0, price 0, total 0.
So just go to QuickBooks and write. Now, where am I going to QuickBooks? Just a
your item list in QuickBooks, and create a new item in QuickBooks called Notes.
Got them. And you know what? That actually goes right into this question I'm looking for. So yesterday we had a customer. Actually, we had somebody in the office. I know we talked about this before. Grab something from the store, and it was a machine for $140. I need to go into QuickBooks and do a miscellaneous item, sync RouteStar and QuickBooks. Then when we go into RouteStar, go under that miscellaneous number, we can change the description and the price, and it will post to QuickBooks.
Correct.
If we didn't have a number and we just started writing in the description and the price, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, you're going to get error messages and it will not go to QuickBooks.
Do I need to set up like a miscellaneous taxed and a miscellaneous like untaxed, or maybe a miscellaneous coffee or a miscellaneous? Should I put a miscellaneous number, say, under each category, like maybe allied or coffee, cappuccino? That is solely up to you and whoever does the accounting, manages the books on the receivable side, because each one of those items you tie to a chart of accounts.
Right.
That's where the revenue shows up. So if you had miscellaneous labor or miscellaneous just under the general revenue accounts receivable account, and you try to run a report for equipment sales, well, obviously that revenue is not going to be included in that report. So you may want, in that scenario, you may want a miscellaneous equipment sales that is tied to the equipment chart of account in QuickBooks.
Right. Okay. All right, that makes a lot of sense. Miscellaneous. Let's really need to go to the sales, so it will pick up the sales of a miscellaneous item. Okay. 2 sales. Okay, perfect. That sounds good. That's it for me.
All right. Julie, are you all set as well?
Yeah, I think so. You said we'll be able to at least get the desktop updated today. Now that I can continue to set up my cruise.
Correct.
Okay. That would work.
All right.
Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Well, same to you guys both.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.